Hello everyone, I hope you're doing alright. Welcome to what I watched this month, July edition. I apologize for uploading this a little late, but let's just get right into it. So the first film that I saw this month was The Godfather. Did I like The Godfather? Obviously. Did I like it so much that it is one of my favorite films of all time? Unfortunately not. Don't get me wrong, I think The Godfather is a masterpiece, but I just feel like I expected a crazy lot from the film and it didn't exactly live up to my expectations in a way. I love the acting, the action, and the scenes in Italy as well. The baptism scene will remain iconic forever. It was very well executed and immersive, and I really don't think I should be the one telling you how good of a film it is. But I'm not the biggest fan of gangster films in general, and perhaps that's why I didn't go crazy when I watched the film. However, that doesn't change the fact that this film will always be a milestone in cinema history. I then watched The Terminal, which was pretty funny, and Tom Hanks is very lovable in it, but there are a lot of plot holes and a couple of scenes which felt extremely unrealistic in the film. Nonetheless, a very fun film to watch with your family. And then, on the 5th of July, I didn't merely watch a film, I had an experience. I experienced the greatest film I've ever seen with my naked eyes. Cats by Tom Hooper. This masterpiece deserves a video in itself, which will be coming out soon. So let's move on to the next film that I watched. I don't know if I should call this a film. I would like to call it a masterpiece. And to cleanse myself from the sin that I had committed, I watched Hamilton, which I wouldn't be rating because it's more than just 5 stars. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Disney Plus, and I recommend that you check it out as soon as you can. I then wanted to watch something new, but I ended up rewatching Birdman again, and I don't ever regret watching this film. I feel bad for those who haven't seen it yet. Quite possibly one of the greatest films in the history of cinema. I then rewatched Tanu, Weds, Manu, and I realized that the film has quite a lot of plot holes, which doesn't make the story any less fun, but a lot just seemed out of place. A lot of dialogues didn't exactly age well in the film, but yeah, needless to say, the sequel still remains excellent. When I heard about Palm Springs, I was like, wait, what? Andy Samberg's film came out this year? And it co-stars the woman who has my favorite cover of La Vie en Rose? I just had to watch Palm Springs instantly. And it turns out, I spent the next 2 hours of my life crushing the F out of Andy Samberg during the film, along with an additional 3 hours after the film. It's got a very interesting storyline, and being a Lonely Island classic, it's got a hell lot of humor in it. The only issue with the film is that definitely at some point, you're gonna feel like the story gets a little bit monotonous, but that quickly fades away because the film changes its tone multiple times, but in a good way. Moving on, I then watched A Death in the Gunj in one take, and I think this is undoubtedly one of the best films I've seen in a while because it's been half a month since I saw this, and I can't get it out of my head. Essentially a slow burner, the film takes its time to settle post a hilarious opening sequence and keeps getting better and better. If I ever made a film in the future, Vikrant Massey would probably be the lead actor in it. The film feels very authentic, and I hope Konkona Sen Sharma keeps making films because I cannot wait for more of her work. One of the best thrillers I've seen, maybe ever. It's very original and it's on Amazon Prime. So watch it if you're in the mood for a good thriller. So here comes the part where Rudransh gives 5 out of 5 for literally every film that he watches at this part of the month. But can you really blame me? I mean, I rewatched Ratatouille and I know for a fact that it's one of the greatest animated films I've ever seen. And I actually watched the film twice this month. It has one of my favorite monologues in film, and that amazing childhood flashback transition during the Anton Ego eating the ratatouille scene is so damn good. So you're probably wondering, which other film gets 5 out of 5 in this video, Rud? Here it is. The Coen brothers never fail to amaze me. They make such great films, and Inside Llewyn Davis is no exception. Or maybe it is. This is the Coen brothers' least film-like experience. It feels so real, as though we're a part of what's going on in the life of Llewyn Davis, the protagonist of the story. The indie music is brilliant, and so are the performances. It's got everything that you'd expect in a Coen brothers film, and it may just be my new favorite Coen brothers film. I'll be rewatching this film soon to confirm it. I then decided to watch every Wes Anderson film that I hadn't watched, including his feature films, short films, and even commercials. And yeah, I did go overboard with that one. The first one that I watched was the Darjeeling Limited, which was set in India, and it captures the emotions and relationship between three estranged brothers brilliantly and is, in my opinion, Wes Anderson's most emotional film till date. The film uses its location to its fullest, and Robert Yeoman's cinematography is brilliant in capturing India like a painting come to life. However, I did have a few questions in the end of the Darjeeling Limited, and when I watched Wes Anderson's short film titled Hotel Chevalier, a lot of these questions were answered. It serves as a backstory to Jason Schwartzman's character in the Darjeeling Limited, and there's not much to say about this except for the fact that I really liked the final shot of the short film. I then watched. I should have liked Rushmore much more, but the film seemed quite disoriented if I'm being honest. And while I'm a fan of the coming of age genre, there was just a lot that wasn't believable in the film. But then again, this was Wes Anderson experimenting with his earlier work, and the movie had a pretty decent script that just wasn't executed as well as it was written. I then watched Wes Anderson's debut feature film, which came in the form of Bottle Rocket, and it had a great first act, but towards the end of the second act, I felt like I was losing my connect to the characters and the story in general. It isn't an amazing debut film by any means, but Wes Anderson was trying to find a style at that point in time, and eventually he did. Well, I guess everyone learns as time passes by. I also watched two of Wes Anderson's other short films, which are available on YouTube if you'd like to check that out. And finally, I finished watching every Wes Anderson film till date. I then decided to begin my long-planned Stanley Kubrick binge, because he is one of the best directors ever, and while I've already seen The Shining and 2001: A Space Odyssey, which by the way is one of the best films ever, I think Doctor Strangelove is definitely slightly more humorous compared to the earlier two films that I watched.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
It possibly could be one of Kubrick's funniest films, which is surprising to say because, after all, it is about a nuclear war between US and Russia. The film is timeless because even now, it remains relevant for a film released in 1964 and is something that I definitely want to watch again. And yeah, that's everything that I watched this month. I've decided to pick a favorite from all the films that I watch every month, and my favorite movie this month was Inside Llewyn Davis. If you haven't seen any of the films mentioned in the video, go ahead and watch them and have your own say about them. And if you guys are new here, I'd appreciate if you clicked on the subscribe button. It doesn't cost any money to do that, and at the same time, makes me feel happy, I guess. I don't know, it's a mutual thing. You know what, just do it, just subscribe, it doesn't harm anyone. Alright then, I'll see you guys in the next video.